The history of Krav Maga begins in the turbulent early 20th century in Central Europe and is closely tied to the life of its founder, Imi Lichtenfeld. Imi Lichtenfeld was born in 1910 in Budapest and later grew up in Bratislava, which at the time was part of Czechoslovakia. Imi came from an athletic background. His father, Samuel Lichtenfeld, was a chief police inspector and former circus acrobat who also taught self-defense techniques to police officers. Growing up in this environment, Imi became highly skilled in boxing, wrestling, and gymnastics, eventually becoming a successful competitive athlete. During the 1930s, political instability and rising anti-Semitism in Europe led to violent attacks against Jewish communities in Bratislava. Imi found himself organizing groups of young men to defend their neighborhoods from fascist gangs and street violence. Through these real-life confrontations, he quickly realized that traditional sporting techniques were not always effective in chaotic street fights, where attackers used weapons, attacked in groups, and showed no regard for rules. These experiences forced him to adapt his athletic training into something far more practical and instinctive, focusing on techniques that were simple, efficient, and designed to neutralize threats as quickly as possible. As Nazi influence spread across Europe, Lichtenfeld was eventually forced to flee his homeland. After a difficult journey, he arrived in the region of Palestine in the early 1940s, which was then under British control. His reputation as a fighter quickly earned him a role with the Jewish paramilitary organization known as the Haganah, where he trained soldiers and resistance fighters in physical conditioning, swimming, and hand-to-hand combat. It was during this period that his evolving system of close combat began to take a more structured form, emphasizing aggressive counterattacks, targeting vulnerable areas of the body, and using natural reflexes to survive violent encounters. When the modern state of Israel was established in 1948 and the Israel Defense Forces were formed, Lichtenfeld became the chief instructor of physical fitness and hand-to-hand combat for the new military. Over nearly 2 decades of service, he refined his system to meet the needs of soldiers facing real battlefield threats. Training had to be efficient and quickly learned, since many recruits had limited time to prepare for combat. The system emphasized simple movements, aggressive defense combined with immediate counterattacks, and techniques designed to neutralize threats as quickly as possible. The Hebrew term Krav Maga, meaning contact combat, eventually became the name used for this method of close-quarters fighting. After retiring from the military in the 1960s, Lichtenfeld began adapting Krav Maga for civilian use. While the military version was designed for battlefield survival, the civilian version had to account for legal and ethical considerations. Techniques were modified so ordinary people, men, women, and even children, could defend themselves and escape dangerous situations with minimal harm. Lichtenfeld opened training centers in cities like Tel Aviv and Netanya, and began training a small group of dedicated instructors who would later help spread the system internationally. Over time, Krav Maga was adopted not only by civilians, but also by law enforcement and security agencies around the world. In the decades that followed, Krav Maga grew from a military combat system into one of the most widely recognized self-defense methods in the world. Organizations such as the International Krav Maga Federation helped spread the system across Europe, North America, and many other regions. Despite its global popularity, the core philosophy remains the same as the one forged in the streets of 1930s Europe. Techniques must be simple, practical, and effective under stress, with the primary goal not to win a sport match, but to survive a violent encounter. Today, Krav Maga continues to evolve while maintaining the principles established by Imi Lichtenfeld: realism, efficiency, adaptability, and the belief that anyone, regardless of size or strength, should have the ability to defend themselves when confronted with danger.